Hey, this is Kat from Red Mountain Shaman, and I share shamanic wisdom through dreams, visions, nature, synchronicities, intuition, channeling, art, music, photography, and shamanic journeys. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys all had a good week. I had a crazy week. It was very emotional and intense. The 7/7 portal, my cat got attacked. He's still really struggling to recover, so please send prayers. The full moon was very intense as well. It just felt like a lot of emotional release, a lot of almost like anxiety attack kind of vibes. So I don't know if anybody else has been feeling that or if it's just the energy going on, but let me know in the comments if you guys have been experiencing something similar. So I'm just going to get right to it. So everybody this week is talking about the list, and a lot of people are very upset that this list is not coming out now. But I feel like it is still going to come out. So let me tell you the reason why. So if you remember a couple videos back, I had a vision of a clock. And so this clock has a lot of layers of symbolism. And, I've been getting a lot of messages that time will be changing, time is accelerating, time warps. And then this week I also saw a clip of another intuitive talking about her experience with this white rabbit and how, the white rabbit's running around always saying that time is running out and he's going to be late. So the vision, or not the vision, but the message I'm getting is that time is really kind of an illusion. It's part of this matrix, this world that we live in. And so as this matrix starts to, I guess you could say, ascend, or the frequency keeps lifting, I think that time is going to keep changing a little bit and keep feeling different. And so back to the list, I think that this clock symbol also has to do with Mr. T. So when he was announcing this and he made the comment, nobody cares about this list, let's just move on, kind of a thing. And then right after that, he was just, or before that, or around that same time, he was talking about this grandfather clock that he saw in part of the White House and that he wanted to bring it to this room where everybody could see it and everybody had the meetings. And it was just weird that he would bring up this clock. I thought that I had the vision a couple weeks ago of the clock. And so I think he's just pointing to, in the right timing, that is going to be happening. And everything's about timing, and there's all kinds of chess moves. And I believe this because I was also showed like this spider web of corruption and all these networks of corruption that are all connected. And I think there is so many layers to it, and it's just like he has to take it down in layers. He has to do what he's doing in layers because it's a process. So I think he's already done a lot of good things, but then sometimes things are not looking so good. Like one thing that I was kind of upset about was him sending weapons to the U country again, and also supporting some really corrupt people, rhinos in his party. I honestly don't think he is really part of the two-party system. I think he's making chess moves. So we're just going to have to see about that, how stuff plays out. But it's interesting because I also came across this other woman who had a dream, and she had a dream that there was going to be a conflict or a war, and that a lot of people were going to leave Mr. T's side, and that there would still be those of us who support him in the end that can kind of see through what's going on. And then she also did see a jackpot with a bunch of gold coins shooting out of it, and that these gold coins would only be going to the people who were pure in heart. So I've watched a couple of her videos. They just occasionally pop up. I don't really follow her, so I thought that was interesting that specific video popped up, because I've had two instances where Yeshua showed up in a Civil War outfit and then he winked at me. So I kind of feel like he's saying, yes, we're in a civil war. It may get worse, but we've got this. And then the last video I made, I said he showed up before his message and he was playing like a Civil War drum. So I think we are in the war right now. So we'll ask our friend who wants to give the message today, and it's going to be a beautiful surprise. I haven't talked to this person in a long time, this spirit being. So I'll tell you in a minute who it's going to be. So the next thing I found that was a really interesting synchronicity was that another person, Tina Spalding, she channels Jesus and Ananda. She got the same information from Spirit a few days after I did about the floods being, well, not just the floods, but, a lot of the stuff that's happening on the planet is part of the reason is to get people's attention and to awaken people. And she, but people died, you would say, but she explained, or Yeshua explained through her, that there is no death. We, are eternal beings of light. So, we're just going into another, transitioning into another form. So she said that sometimes souls come in and they contract to leave the planet altogether at the same time in order to get people's attention for the awakening of the planet or some kind of a better cause. So she believes that's what happened. I didn't really get that message. I just got for purification and to get people's attention. So with Jesus, with her, kind of went into it a little deeper, and that's what she got. Okay, so another thing that happened this week is I was talking to a friend, and we were asking, like, why are we not experiencing healing? So when I was on the phone with her, I kind of tapped in and I saw a big Q. And then she kind of has lost faith in Mr. T and doesn't follow Q. I don't follow Q either, but I just thought it was interesting. I just saw a big Q. And then I saw like a rainbow light body kind of igniting. And so the next day, there was this guy. He kind of looks like an extraterrestrial. He has ice blue eyes and he's bald. I can't remember his name, but he made a post about Q and how Q was like this interdimensional, intergalactic kind of thing, working with our military, I guess. So I wish I could remember his name to let you know who it was, but I thought that was pretty interesting synchronicity that popped up the next day. And then also the next day, me and my husband were taking a walk and we saw another rainbow. Okay, so then I came across someone who had a video about China, and it was supposedly, I think the video was called China's Most Advanced City. And this city is called Shenzhen. And so I'm like, oh, I wonder what that's like. And so I checked out the video for a minute, and it was, this city is completely full of like cameras, facial recognition, robots making your coffee, drones, basically everything that makes a surveillance control state and it totally reminded me of like the book 1984. Even though everything looks slick and shiny, it's really everybody's being surveilled and controlled. So that was interesting. I do not want to be part of that scene at all. I much prefer nature. So another thing that I noticed that came up this week was that Ziploc was having a lawsuit for toxic leaching and then plastic bottles causing blindness of some sort. I'm not sure if that second one is true. I really haven't done, any kind of research on this. They just kind of popped up. So do your own research. But I thought that was interesting because last week Sasquatch brought in the banana leaves, and he was talking about storing, wrapping, cooking food in, serving food in these banana leaves. So it's interesting. I think we're going to start finding new ways of storing our food because of this toxic plastic that we've been so used to using all the time. And also it just stays in the earth. It doesn't really decompose. So I have personally I tried bamboo containers. What else have I been using? Oh, a lot of glass jars that are able to go in the freezer that are glass, stuff like that. So I'm just still exploring it. I did buy some banana leaves. They're really cheap. They're like $3, and I put them in the freezer, and I'm still going to do some more research on how to use them. But I feel like it's just sort of the universe waking us up to how toxic we have become in our habits. Okay, so then another thing was I keep seeing this big sun. Every time I enter a meditation or a journey, the first thing I see is a sun. I think there's a lot of layers to this sun symbolism. I think Yeshua is like a solar rishi. I think the sun is almost like part of God. Why are they trying to block out the sun? And the sun is what feels like it's upgrading us and helping our light bodies and our DNA to upgrade. And I also found out that 2025 is a solar maximus year. I'm not sure what that means. I'm not an astrologer, but that's what I heard. Then I wanted to talk about how there is some spiritual people in the community that I'm sort of falling out of resonance with. So just use your discernment, and I don't think everybody's like bad just because you disagree with them. In fact, my husband brought up that he watches book reviews a lot. He's a voracious reader. And he was saying that he read this book, and it was so interesting how he saw like 3 reviews of it, and they all came from completely different angles and perspectives. And so I wanted to kind of refer that to the spiritual community, how, the intuitive people that have channels like mine, it's like we're all picking up on kind of our own unique perspective of things. So it doesn't mean just because somebody has a little bit of a different angle on something that they're not a good person. But I like to feel into the energy and see what they're saying and just try to keep using my discernment, and then sometimes I'm just guided like, I don't think I want to watch that person anymore. So yeah, just use your discernment about it. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was a shamanic journey that I took about 2 days ago. So the first thing that happened in this journey is that I was walking on a beach, and then I was taken up high so that I was looking over this land, and I saw that it was Japan, and that there was lava flowing and even kind of like lava streams under the water. And then I saw this huge dragon over this area. And it's interesting because a couple weeks ago I was talking about the Ainu people, and maybe that was the foretelling of this volcanic area in Japan, because that's where they're from. So that was interesting. Then I heard the Ganges River. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but I looked it up. It's in India. It's like, I guess, a sacred river. And it's super polluted. I asked if you could swim in it, and it said no. So maybe there's going to be some healing with that, or some sort of event, or... it just feels like that river needs to be cleared. So maybe we'll feel guided to do some clearing there. And then I heard Kilimanjaro. And when I looked that up, that was in Africa. And it's really near the African Rift, which is happening. And the Africa is kind of splitting. And there's been like a lot of like little kind of mini earthquakes. And I also got information that the Ethiopian Bible is the more pure Bible, and it has the more pure information in it compared to other Bibles. And also I was hearing like the book of the Jubilees. There's something with the Jubilees. So that seems like an important book for our time. And it obviously wasn't included in the canonized version from the Vatican. And then as I was hovering over Japan, I also felt the power of like creation within me. And it was very moving, very emotional. And it felt like this power of creation is starting to rise within us. And then in this journey, Nikola Tesla, that's who I was going to bring up today. He's the one that met me in this state and had a superhero cape on, which I've seen him before in a superhero cape. And in that vision, he had this cape on, and he like picked up this Tesla car, like with superhuman powers, and he put it in a toilet and flushed it down the toilet. I thought that was kind of funny. So in this journey, he had lightning bolts in both hands, and he mentioned healing technology, and he shuffled some documents around. So maybe those are patents he was showing me. I'm not quite sure. And then he said something about the organic lightning is the power of creation. And then I saw footage from a Texas storm that was taken from a helicopter. And to me, that lightning kind of looked like fake lightning. And then in this journey, I started walking over some fiery coals. And I heard purification by fire, trial by fire. The fire will not harm you. And then in the journey, I saw the double rainbow again. And then I saw a medicine wheel with a cross inside of a circle. And then the outer circle of this medicine wheel, or the hoop, it turned into a rainbow. And I stood in the center of this cross, or the four directions, and I was shown red rocks, and I was guided to put a pillar of light in Arizona. And I heard fraud exposure, desert plague. And then after that, I was taken to the Temple Mount, and I was taken up above it, and what they were showing me, it looked like a vortex, and there was like butterflies and angels, but there was also like dark swirling clouds, so it felt like kind of a mix of energies. And like almost like two opposing forces at play. And like I've mentioned this a long time ago, I feel like my higher self in another dimension is like helping to kind of protect that vortex or Stargate from being completely taken over by the dark side. Then I was taken to Solomon's original first temple in spirit, and it just looked like this very expansive place. And the journey ended by me being in this temple and being greeted by these two lions. And then I was shown a rainbow line of energy leading to Ethiopia from this Temple Mount and then back to Egypt. So I'm not sure what they were showing me there, if it was some sort of a ley line or grid. But yeah, there's some different energies going on there that feel connected somehow. Okay, so another thing that happened was I was walking by a neighbor's house, and all of a sudden there was all these birds kind of making these kind of, like a hawk or some kind of sound where it's kind of a whistle. And I think they were actually falcons. And then there was like several of them in these trees. I think there was probably maybe like 6 of them. Maybe they were like young birds that were learning to fly. So they were making all kinds of ruckus. And then I look up and then there's 3 huge hawks circling above me. So I just wanted to look up these spirit animals to see if this resonates. But in shamanic traditions, the hawk often symbolizes vision, intuition, focus, and freedom. It can represent a messenger from the spirit realm, guiding individuals to see beyond the immediate and to gain clarity and insight. Hawks are also associated with wisdom, strength, and courage, and can signify the need to observe situations with a clear perspective. And then I looked up these little other birds that were a little smaller, and they're kestrels, and I think they're a type of falcon. And it says, the power of the kestrel is patience, concentration, precise action. Opportunities are recognized and acted upon at exactly the correct moment. And I feel like this also might go back to the clock that we saw with Mr. T, timing the exact moment to do certain things and having leverage and striking at the right moment. It says, if a kestrel flies into your life, it may be asking you to stimulate your mental powers and move speedily and smoothly into the future that you desire. Go with the flow, paying attention to the movement of every situation, and be responsible for your actions. So, hope that resonates with you guys. And now I am going to read the message from Nikola Tesla. I just love his energy, and I hope you enjoy. This is what I heard when I typed out his message. Message from Nikola Tesla, July 13th, 2025. Before he starts speaking to me, he shows me his lab in Colorado Springs, and he says, I was onto something, and they suppressed it. Greetings, friends who are seekers and wielders of the light. You are now in the final throes of a great transition of power. Those who have been creating manipulated weather havoc and creating weapons against you will not prosper. For the true creator and those of us who carry the lightning or the electricity of the true flame of spirit are ready to rise. The lightning is within you. You are electric beings. There are also electric beings in other dimensions who are assisting and participating in this great shift of consciousness. We are remembering the spark of God that lies within. As you begin to remember the power of this spark, you also remember that you are indeed powerful co-creators. It is well known that I have adapted well to traversing multiple timelines and dimensions. We have said many times that we are experiencing a multi-dimensional battle, and this battle is for the soul of humanity and the restoration of Mother Earth to her organic frequency and power grids. I am making myself known to you at this time as I play a role in this restoration. I carry many keys to this healing of Earth and humanity, the restorative powers of the Most High, and the blossoming of all creation will bring Earth back to its original form, which some would call the Garden of Eden, which was a playground of joy, health, creativity, abundance, and harmonization with nature. I speak with you now as a friend and ally, as one who champions this cause or this restoration. There are many layers of control that have poisoned our systems, and what you see happening at this time is the revealing of these controllers and what their true agendas are. There is a central figure at the heart of this dismantling, and he is making many moves and decisions that some will not fully understand at this time. But know that as this upheaval continues on your planet and within your own lives, there is simultaneously a release of these old poisonous ways. There is indeed a cleanup transpiring if you have not noticed. There must be a reckoning for this beautiful restoration to take place. There must be a return to sovereignty. And those who are not free or have been suffering at the hands of these corrupt and selfish leaders and their systems, including the little ones, must be set free. Follow the money and look deeper at to who is being exploited for the gain of these false power structures. In order to take these powers and principalities down, the reckoning is here. You are watching it now. And time is accelerating, and time itself is changing. You may look to the Book of Jubilees to learn about how time and calendars have been manipulated. The dominoes have started to fall. Everything is in place, and the Great Spirit sees all and will be bringing forth the true power of creation. You have seen floods. You have seen fires. You have seen hurricanes, and you have seen storms. And many of these have been created and manipulated by false gods who think they can steer the course of this battle. But their battleship will be sinking as eyes are opened and the true creators of heaven and earth step forward with a mighty roar. Nothing can stop your light, nothing can stop your freedom, and nothing can stop what I was onto. The electricity of the organic creator will come out of nowhere and show its majesty. It is also within you. You are the lions and the lion-hearted. It is within organic creation, and nothing can rival it. The dragons are ready to power up these natural grids. You are surrounded by the light warriors and their electric strongholds of love that move upon the earth, breaking down the old matrix of lies, corruption, and constant manipulation of the minds of those who are unsuspecting. Some of you will choose to continue within this mind manipulation and false god frequencies, and others will continue to rise as the phoenix into the true Christos flame. For all have free will. For those truth seekers of divine order who travel the red road which the Native Americans spoke of. The prophecies have been clear. The rainbow warriors will be leading the charge of this restoration. The sacred hoop will be restored as you gather in might, strength, and love. The double rainbow promised double return. What was stolen must be returned, for it is universal law, and your storehouses will be full. No longer will you be a slave to the power structures that demand payment for what should be free to all as the Creator intended it. No longer will you suffer within the body as healing technologies will soon be released. No longer will you be poisoned by the contaminations of industries that care not for your health, but care only for their profits. This, my friends, is the path into the golden age, and what is now seemingly being destroyed is actually making room for the imagination to run wild and free. You are being given a fresh start to take your planet to a new stage of expansion. Stay the course with love and trust. Call back your peace in times of chaos. Let your soul guide you to a better experience as you release the old. No trial by fire can stop you as long as you never give up. You are eternal. You are a spark of the divine. You are the love. You are the lightning. I am the original Tesla, and nothing can stop the divine creation that I was on to. Thank you, Nikola Tesla. I love his messages and energy, and this message that he gave reminded me of a song I wrote a few years ago, and I wanted to read the lyrics to you guys because it's so in alignment with what he's talking about, and it's called Revolution Moon, and this is on our last album called Feathers and Fur. I'll put a link to that album in the description box. If anybody is interested in hearing it, you can go. It's on Bandcamp. You can hear it for free. And our music is a little heavier. It's got a lot of folk Americana and post-rock kind of influences. So it's not meditation music, but I think that we all have our own unique way of expressing ourselves. And not everybody resonates with me and my music, and I might not resonate with you and your music, but it's so cool that we can all create and just be authentic and create from our soul, and it doesn't matter what other people think. Just be authentic, I think, is the important thing. So anyway, here's the lyrics to it. It's called Revolution Moon again. She who rides the owl brings justice. He who wields the sword brings justice. Choking on their own smoke, dying in their own flames. She who walks with lightning ends the game. Revolution Moon, anchor in your light and wake the fool. And then the second verse is, toss and turn, you opiate masses, sleep unsound and raise your glasses. Lift the curtain high, they who pull the strings, my electric friends will end the game. So yeah, just totally matches up with his Nikola Tesla's message about us being electric beings. So I hope you guys enjoyed these messages. If you would like to book a session with me, please go to my contact page and learn how to do that. There's simple directions on there. My website is redmountainshaman.com, and it also helps to leave a comment or a like. And please subscribe. I just reached 7,077 subscribers this week. So it's funny because the other night Spirit told me to go look at my subscribers and it was 777. So that was awesome. So if you would like to leave a donation, it really helps me to keep making these videos. My PayPal link is at the bottom of my contact page as well. And I wish you guys all hopefully a better week than this last week was for me. But I make my videos every Sunday. If you're new to my channel, I really encourage you to go back and watch some of my old videos because there's some really timeless messages back there, and there's a lot of things that I've talked about that are now starting to come about. So there's some really great, hopeful messages. So I encourage you to do that. I hope you guys have a great week. Take care. Sending love.